This is the Samsung Galaxy A12, an all-rounded budget smartphone which was released by Samsung back in 2020. So after 2 years, does it still deliver on its promise? Let's find out in my Samsung Galaxy A12 2022 review. Design-wise, the Samsung Galaxy A12 looks really nice. It has a plastic unibody. There's a diagonal stripe pattern at the back which makes the phone grippy. And there is a square camera bump at the top left corner with the flashlight below it. Overall, this phone is comfortable to use. Let's start with the software. The Samsung Galaxy A12 is running Android 12 with One UI 4.1 on top. Overall, it's quite smooth, even though it's very customizable. You get a theme store which allows you to customize your wallpapers, icons, and the incoming call screen. You get an edge panel for storing a lot of shortcuts. You get an app menu for storing all your apps. And it's easily accessible by swiping up or down on the home screen. However, if you don't like it, you can disable it and keep all your apps on the home screen, like an iPhone. You can also minimize supported apps into a small window. And if you like multitasking, you'll be happy to know that there is split screen available. And you get a game launcher which gives you plenty of extensive options and functions for your games. The Samsung Galaxy A12 has a 6.5-inch PLS LCD screen with a 720p resolution and a standard 60Hz refresh rate. The standard refresh rate provides a normal swiping and scrolling experience. As far as brightness goes, this phone does a good job indoors. It's also usable outdoors to some extent. The screen may not be the sharpest, but quality-wise it does a good job. The contrast is alright, and the colors are also quite accurate. But there are no options to adjust them with. Moving on to the cameras, the Samsung Galaxy A12 has a 48 megapixel main camera, a 5 megapixel ultra-wide camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a depth sensor. At the front, you get an 8 megapixel selfie camera. Photos from the selfie camera are good. You get a good level of detail, decent colors, and wide enough dynamic range thanks to the help of HDR. Selfie portraits are decent in almost every respect, but the dynamic range is limited since there is no HDR in this mode. Let's move on to the rear cameras. Starting off with the main camera, the photos are good. There is plenty of detail, the colors are good, and the dynamic range is quite wide. Portraits from the main camera are good, with decent subject separation and background blur. You can end up with a blown background since there is no HDR. The ultra-wide camera does a decent job too, but since it has a lower resolution, the detail level drops. And there is no distortion correction, so straight lines will appear curved near the edges of the frame. Photos from the macro camera are okay. You get the detail level that you would expect at this resolution, and since focus is fixed, it requires multiple tries to get a sharp photo. The main camera does a decent job at night. The photos are quite bright and the detail level is okay, but the dynamic range is narrow. And there is no night mode to help you out here. As you'd expect, the ultra-wide camera struggles even more at night. As far as video recording goes, the Samsung Galaxy A12 is limited to 1080p at 30 fps and there is no stabilization. But it's good quality-wise, the colors are decent and the dynamic range is okay. Videos from the ultra-wide camera are usable too, but the colors are cooler here and the dynamic range is a bit more narrow. You can unlock the screen with a side-mounted fingerprint reader which is built into the power button. It's quite fast and accurate. The Samsung Galaxy A12 has a Helio P35 processor paired with 3, 4 or 6 gigs of RAM. It's powerful enough to get you through the day smoothly, and it can also serve you well if you want to play some games. But for that, you would have to lower the graphics settings, especially if the game is very demanding. But if you are after the best performance and you like playing games at higher graphics settings, you can find a more powerful option elsewhere. The Samsung Galaxy A12 has a headphone jack and a single speaker, and they are located at the bottom. It isn't very loud, but the sound quality is okay. You get 32, 64 or 128 gigs of internal storage, and it's expandable via a micro SD card. The call quality on the Samsung Galaxy A12 is great, and this phone has a large 5000 mAh battery, and it can take you through the whole day. So that is my Samsung Galaxy A12 2022 review. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. See ya.